Just to finish off our discussion about grass, this is a second grazing in this field, John?
That's correct, yes.
Okay, all right. And on the first rotation, would you say it was a paddock that was heavily soiled, heavily damaged, or minimal?
No, it was beyond what I was comfortable with.
Right. Okay.
So yes.
So seeing it like this, you're quite impressed?
Yeah, it always amazes me, does grass, what it can put up with and what it can recover from.
And the crucial aspect there is you are allowing it to rest and recover. So that break period between each grazing is allowing that opportunity for it to rest and recover. And because it was grazed very early in the year,
yes.
At that time of year, grass growth is quite slow, so that rest period is going to be fairly extended. So it would have been, 5 weeks? So just over 30 days ago.
Yeah.
Spot on.
Well, when we were all year round calving, we had managed to see the light with stopping serving for Christmas. So we had 2 weeks so that we didn't have any calves born over the Christmas period. So we extended the Christmas break, and then I sold the heifers that were born in the summer, and we basically just kept extending the gap of non-serving till we got to 2 12-week blocks, and then I managed to get the springs down to 9 weeks, and this last winter we've reduced the autumns down to 11 weeks, and I want to reduce it further.
As you've moved towards more of a block calving system, what are the benefits that you've seen?
Well, it's just focus on a job. So when we're doing a job, we're doing a lot of it. So if you can manage to get protocols in place, you can manage to follow them, you do a lot of something, and then by the time you're fed up about it, you're looking at the end of it and you're finished. So yeah, just focus workload, and then that allows us to have regular time away from the farm and everybody to take their holidays. So the biggest challenge with autumn calving is that we're having so many cows calving at one point in autumn. I have to calve them outside. So if the weather does go against me, I'm struggling to have the calving facilities inside. But that said, we have had some challenging autumns, and we've got through it.
In terms of the breeding then, actually, how is that managed at the farm?
Well, we've made the decision that I don't particularly dislike a Holstein cow, but they just I got to a stage where we were probably having too many unplanned culls. I wanted to reduce the size, put a bit more strength in, so I've opted to put one cross to Friesian and then go back to a non-extreme Holstein, still prioritising fertility and constituent value. So that's what we're doing, and that's what we're on with, trying to just put a more robust cow.
How long have you been using the Friesian, John?
Good question, that. I think we'll have 3 generations in the herd now. It's contracted out to Genus at the moment for the RMS service, but also I'm trialling collars at the same time. So we got collars on the grant scheme last autumn, but we didn't get them for the reference heat period. We ran the collars and we run the RMS at the same time, and there's some impact.
In terms of actual herd fertility KPIs, is this improving, and how?
Yeah, KPIs, we're failing on against the KPIs. We're not failing as a business, so that means that there's room for us to improve. It's something I do want to improve on.
Good. So in terms of the plan moving forward, then, not convinced about collars versus RMS at the moment?
I'm not prepared to call it. It's being monitored, and it'll become obvious which way is to go forward.
So in spring, you're going to run both again to see and collect the data from that? Okay, good.
Because now we have the collars on the cows, they're settled down, we've we've got the advantage of having the reference heats.
Yep.
So we'll have a more full picture
Yep.
of how the herd's performing.
Yep, jolly good.
You've
Right.
got less of your herd to pick your elite froms. If you're just picking from your autumns, I understand. Are you ruling your springs out because they have dropped out on fertility into a spring block, or?
Yeah, you have to draw a line somewhere, otherwise you end up with an all year round calving herd. So we have to have some red lines, and I'll only pick my replacements out of my autumn because they're actually doing what I want them to do, which is calving in autumn.
So the fact that you have some good cows calving in spring, they will still get a beef straw because the production system is we're shifting to autumn, or replacements come in autumn.
Yeah.
Do you know roughly where your springs are versus your autumns at the moment in terms of production?
Production, the springs, when they've been being punished outside, they dropped down to about 17 litres, and then they've since we've let them out, they're back up to just over 20 litres with the same feed rate. Well, no, with the reduced feed rate of concentrate.
Which is?
They're still on 4 kilos, which is higher than what I want to be at this time of year.
4 kilos a parlour cake.
Yeah, and the reason for that is that AgriNet, I don't want to challenge them anymore until I know I've got the growth rate.
Yep.
Once I get the grass, I'll challenge them down to about a kilo.
Okay.
And then the springs were peaking about 34 litres. Now we've turned them out. We've just knocked a bit off that, but yeah.
How much cake are your spring herd getting?
Well, I think they're 8 kilos, which is far higher than what I would want to be.
Yeah.
But like I say, I want a settled period. Now I'm in once the weather's here, once the grazing's here, now I start challenging cows.
Yep. And you're happy to start pulling that concentrate a little bit? Yep.
Desperate, not
Yep.
happy, desperate to pull
And
it
during
away.
breeding?
Yeah, I'll start challenging them now because once I get some decent grass in them, the grazing wedge will allow me to do that.
Breeding start date with your spring herd will be?
Monday.
There it is. Jolly good.
My question was just in relation to you calving outside. How do you manage colostrum with them being outside?
Well, we go twice a day to fetch cow and calf inside. We have a dedicated dump bucket within the parlour, and we only feed dam's milk to its own calf. So we're trying to manage Jonas that way. We will pool colostrum for any beef animals, but we definitely won't do it for replacement animals. As it stands at the moment, that's one thing that all is hot on is Jonas. We don't have any red cows on the farm. I think we've probably got 4 mediums, and they flicked up as being medium about 5 or 6 years ago, and they've not moved this. Well, they've not come back as medium. They've gone back down to low. So it's not a problem, but it could soon be a problem if I allowed it to be a problem. Neve's put a lot of work and a lot of effort into, and we do a lot of benchmarking with the vets. So we'll keep them in individual pens up to 7 to 11 days. This is the black and white replacements, and then they go on to a computer calf feeder. We feed them dam's milk for at least 2 feeds, longer if we can, but when we've a lot of calvings going on, we just can't physically manage it. Then we go on to a transition milk powder, and then when they go on to, after 11 to 12 days, they go on to the computer calf feeder, they go on to a standard milk powder. With 2 computer calf feeders, so that allows us to have 4 pens, and we can put 20 on each pen. They'll vaccinate them for pneumonia, which has definitely pushed growth rates and reduced health challenges for the calves more than what we ever believed once we started doing that. Yeah, and it's just about keeping them right. I think last year we were very successful, weren't we, Neve? I think we're pleased with what we managed. We managed a lot of calves if we get the cleanliness right, we can stick to the protocols, we can manage a lot of calves and get them through the system without any treatment.
That so calf mortality 4% born dead, 1% less. 1% at less than 14 days. So
Yeah, that's correct. Anyway, we're expecting all the heifer replacements to come within less than 5 weeks. So calf feeders will be full, and then all my continentals are pre-sold, and they're going off the farm at anywhere from 12 to 14 days. So it's only really managing individual pens. So having more, it'll just mean we've got more beef animals to sell.
I'm guessing you're on 12-hour breaks.
Yes.
Is there a reason for that, or and what would you recommend? Is that the right recommendation, or especially at breeding, would you be better going to, is 24 hours the right one, or is 12? From both of you, what's the right or wrong way?
We find the cows easier to manage if they're always getting fresh grass, but I'm open to the challenge of having longer breaks because it would be less work.
I would definitely recommend 12-hour breaks if you are training. Herds, young stock, whatever, onto grazing, I would recommend that. But yeah, once you're a seasoned grazer, you have the opportunity to flex. And that might be weather driven, it might be holiday driven, staff driven, it might be time of year driven. You know, there's many different factors that would influence that, but yeah.
You said production stays the same.
The research says that the production would stay the same, yeah.
Is it the same with fertility as well?
Yes. Yep. As long as your allocation is correct and you've got AgriNet or whatever you're using to make the decisions about how my area allocation, and that is balanced with whatever they're getting fed elsewhere. Yeah. Yep. And that that intake is appropriate for the size and type and production of the cow in the herd. Yeah. Which becomes more of a challenge when you're split block calving or all year round calving, and much easier when you're a single block.
One thing we have a back latch, which we absolutely love. So that's set for 10 to 5 in the morning. So that really is, I'd encourage people to buy one of them.
For those that don't know what that is, that's just it's basically a timed gate dropper. So the latch on the gate will drop at a certain time, gate will ping out the way, cows come in. So it's like an extra half a labour unit.
Yeah, massive. It's another half an hour in bed for me.
It works better on a bungee cord than a spring.
The situation for forage every winter is that I purchase. So I'll purchase forage. I'm not precious about what I purchase. I mean, what type of product I purchase. So we've fed fodder beet, we've fed maize, we've fed bought silo, we've fed round bales, we've fed hay. If I can buy moist feeds at the right money, I'll buy that. So this year I've clamped 250 tonne of brewer's grains at what I believe is the right money before the wheat price started going up. So that'll be available to feed all next winter. And then, I bought an extra 150 tonne of clamp silo, which has been quite painful and has encouraged me to make a mess in my paddocks. But as we stand now, I'm probably at the same point as what I was at this point last year, because we've had a similar first cut. We've got the brewer's grains underneath it, so yeah, I think everything's looking all right at the moment. We grazed 150 acres on the first round, Chris. Or 160, sorry.
Is that your entire platform?
No, that was leaving us 97 acres we first cut, so it's reverse out of what we grazed.
Yep. Okay.
If I judge this business purely on KPIs, there's lots of things that we're not hitting the right mark, but on profit retained, we're in the right area.
I think you can agree that we need to thank the girls for keeping quiet. It's been fairly impressive how quiet they've been, and they look a picture. In terms of a residual, given that we've come here and interrupted them, they've been doing a pretty good job.